Yeah, really, really good win. Defense gives up 75 yards first drive, holds them 93 yards the rest of the game. Gives up 7 points. Gets a late interception. Created field position, a lot of 3-and-outs. Created a lot of field position for our offense. Offense had 11 possessions in the game. They scored on 10 of them, which I don't remember the last time I was part of a. Got to go back to my Grand Valley days for that. So we didn't score one possession. We punted once the whole game. Again, took advantage again of defensive creating field position. A lot of our possessions were shorter fields. Not all of them, but a lot of them were shorter fields. Ran the ball again, got chunk plays in the run, got chunk plays in the pass, which again, when you score points, that's what you need to do. Hank, big key to the game, Brett goes down the first play of the second series where, we go down and kick a field goal. It's kind of tough. We got a touchdown called back. So settled for a field goal after an offensive PI, put us first and 25 after a really nice drive. And then they go right down and score. And then the next play, Brett gets hurt. So at that point, you're not thinking 46-7. At that point, you're thinking, okay, Brett's down, Hank's coming in, where they just, we go right down and score on that drive, which to me is a huge, really good throw to Reggie, good catch. They doubled Reggie, threw a ball in a good spot where Reggie could go get it. Reggie went and got it. So great answer. And then Hank, 4 possessions. He had a touchdown, 2 field goals, and a punt in his 4 possessions. So Hank comes in at 7-3. We're 2nd and 10 on our own, 20-yard line. And he leaves the game at halftime. We're up 16-7. Other key sequence, they pinned us. They had that bomb punt. They had that 60-yard punt into the wind. A great punt for them. Pinned us. We don't get out of there. We punted. We have a good punt on our only punt. We had a good punt on our edge zone. Reggie does a good job covering it, but they got a short field then, and they end up missing their field goal, and then we go right down and get a field goal. So what easily could be 13-10 at half ends up 16-7 at half. It's way different than, obviously, second half played very good, and Brett came back and threw it around, and we did, play good in all phases. So really complete win, and again, playing, solid OD and special teams. Defense, again, was very dominant and set the tone for us.
All right, questions?
You mentioned it a little bit, but did you sense any sort of just complete vibe shift maybe on the sideline with the Keon Mosey run, the play after Brett got hurt, where maybe the guys kind of settled down and there was less panic on the sideline?
Yeah, I don't know that there was any panic. It's not really. When a kid gets hurt in the middle of a series, there's not really enough time to panic. So just Hank's going in and we got to go. There's not even enough time to think of it. It's not like it was like a halftime and you got time. So Hank went out there and they ran a pressure, and Holsky did a good job and sealed the backside, created the space for Mo, and then Mo turned into another big run for him. So that was certainly, I'm with your point, that was a key play, that the first play that Hank goes in there, we rip a 70-yard run and get down there. And then, again, getting the touchdown to Reggie give us a lead that I probably, when we got the 10-7 lead, I'd probably say maybe more then, you think, okay, we're going to be all right, So.
And what did it mean then late in the game? You got a chance to get down to number 5, number 6, number 7 on your running back depth chart, and to get to see some of those guys take carries lead.
Yeah, obviously tons of positives there, because one, you're just so excited you let those kids play. Get some young guys a chance to play, get some at every position on the field, not just at running back. We had all our, and then obviously then you get Millie in there, who's meant so much to our program. So it's not, you get some guys that don't get a chance to play, and then 2, we're a beat-up football team, so anytime you can get to where, hey, we're taking our starters out and we're taking a few minutes off them, that's huge, especially as beat-up as we are. But that's huge anytime you just hey, you get Salpeck out, they get Ty Wise, get Ugo out, to get all them guys off the field, and the last 15 minutes of the game, you don't have to worry about injuries for once. You worry about, but at least not with your starters. So it was anytime you get in those situations, it's very nice. We don't get many, but it is nice.
I'm just curious as to how much work Hessen usually gets during a normal week, and will he be getting any more now that you got a couple extra days, or for that matter, some of the other people, with a couple extra days, whether you could do a little,
Yeah,
extra work.
Hank usually gets 50% of the reps. I used to not be that way. I don't know. our twos get half the reps. We feel that we get a lot of reps. We do a lot of teams, so we feel like our ones get enough reps, but our twos get a lot of reps. So they take half the reps every week, which is probably not normal, but kind of how we've done it the last few years. So he gets a lot of work. There was no worry that he wasn't ready to go in and play. I was not, if Brett couldn't come back, I'd have been very comfortable that we have a great chance to win the game. Obviously, you like to have Brett out there. You always want your starter in over your backup. That's obvious. But I feel real confident that we could have been fine, and we were doing fine. We'd outscored them 13-0 with them on the field. So you feel like you can keep going in that direction.
Going forward, what do you think our odds are, and what do you think has to happen in between now and the end of the season to get to that MAC championship?
Well, we got to win our games. If we win our 4 games, we're going to the MAC championship. It's pretty simple. We've went from 1-4 and 0-1 in the league, and being in a bad place. To now we're 4-4, which makes you feel better. You'd rather be 4-4 than 1-4. Not that we love 4-4, but we're 3-1 in the league, and the 2 teams are tied with that 3-1. There's a team ahead of us in Western. 2 teams are tied with we beat. So if you win your rest of your games, you're in. So we put ourselves in position that we're in control of our own destiny again, and we don't need anybody's help. But we got 4 tough games. Again, can we keep going? Can we keep getting better? We've been getting better. We've been getting better as we go on, and it's showing on the field. We got to keep getting better because, again, Ball State's another team. They just beat Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame. Ball State 2 weeks ago had Vandy beat. Like, if they'd have beat Vandy, they would have beat a team that beat Alabama and beat a team that beat Notre Dame back-to-back weeks, which is pretty good, right? They had Vandy on the ropes for 3 quarters. It was a tied game, and Vandy ended up getting them in the 4th quarter. But I was like, man, that'd be a pretty good run for them of back-to-back wins over teams that beat 2 of the best teams in the country. So, they're very, very capable. Again, if you look at our league, I told our team yesterday, week 1, Toledo put it on us. We lost 30-20, but they put it on us. They outplayed us. It wasn't, And then week 2, Buffalo beats Toledo pretty good. Week 3, we beat OU pretty good. Week 4, OU kicks the daylights out of Buffalo. So if you think anything that happened last week or records mean anything in this league, you're an absolute stone cold idiot. So, it's we went from 3 weeks ago that we stink and what's the matter with our team? I don't know how many times I got asked that week, what's the matter? We need to get those guys playing good. We need this. To now we're just great. 3 weeks later, no, it's not. It's in this league, it's week to week. We've played good 3 weeks in a row, and we've got good results 3 weeks in a row. There's 4 more hard weeks left. And you look at you just look at that 4-year, because again, if you watch us play Toledo and you watch Buffalo whip Toledo and you watch us beat Ohio, it's pretty obvious that Buffalo's going to put on OU pretty good, right? Because we got pasted by Toledo, Buffalo pasted Toledo, we paced OU, and then, now OU, that's obvious. We're two blowouts removed. It should be a killing. And 49-17 later, Buffalo loses to OU. So, and that's, you look at our scores every week. How did it, Eastern's 3-1 now. No, Akron beat them, and Northern's supposed to beat Ball State, and so you got to play, and you got to play the finish, and so. But the nice thing is we're back now. We got 4 week. We're in a 4-week playoff. We're in a 7-week playoff. We've made it through 3 rounds of playoffs so far. We got 4 more to go, and we got to go Tuesday night on the road. It's hard to win on the road anytime in our league. It's really hard. The percentage of wins on midweek games on the road, because it's really hard to travel midweek. The percentage of wins, the midweek road games, is really a tough thing to overcome. So, and they got a good team. They were getting better and better on defense as they're getting settled in. The last 2 weeks they've held Vandy down, held Northern Illinois down. They've been scoring points like crazy all year. They got a potent offense, so we got a big challenge ahead of us.
With Ball State on the schedule on a regular basis recently, I imagine you have a pretty good familiarity with them, almost as much as you have with people that were on the eastern side when that existed. Do you see them as being pretty much similar this year to as in years past?
Yeah, not on defense. They got a new DC, so completely different defense than they were. They had their DC had been there for a while, so we had great familiarity with what they did on defense. But now, totally different. What they're playing on defense, what that offensively, besides last year, they've run similar stuff. Their head guy's an offensive guy. He's a really good offensive guy. ever since he's been at Ball State. They score on everybody. They run, they throw. They're very balanced. Like it. Last year was different. They had some quarterback issues last year, and they ended up going with more of a runner. So they kind of tweaked their offense for 1 year. So it won't be similar to last year because totally different quarterback. They're back. They've always had an athletic guy, but a guy that can whip it around. And they've always run, and they've always he's really good. There's a reason he was with the Saints, and he's really smart. And you watch them. So we're back to kind of more prior to last year when they did more Wildcat stuff. Kind of was their offense because of necessity. They're back. They've got a kid that's throwing it around. They're throwing for a bunch of yards. They're running for a bunch of yards. They're really good. They're really disciplined officers. They're really good at taking what the defense gives them. Structurally, they do a lot of different good things. They always have. Their quarterbacks are always really well schooled and really make good decisions. So they're back to being a normal Ball State offense, and they've, like I said, they're averaging 34 points a game and a bunch of yards, and they run it and they throw it. So they'll be a huge challenge for us.
Halloween's coming up. Jack Schmelzinger dressed as you last year. Do you have Halloween costume plans?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the road recruiting, unfortunately. So I will leave Wednesday after practice, and then we have a day off Thursday. So I will be masquerading as a college football coach on Thursday at a high school somewhere in Indiana. So I will be gone. I'll be back late. That's our off day, but we got some recruiting we got to do, so I got to go on the road and recruit. So I drew those. Normally I wouldn't be like, we got other guys that go. We're not all going on the road, but family's big to us. I did whatever I could for 15 years to make sure I got to be around my kids on Halloween, because it's a big day for me as a dad, a big day to be around so whatever we had to do, whatever we have to do with our schedule, we always change our schedule. This year it falls beautifully because we have an off day because of the extended week, so that's beautiful. But I don't got young kids anymore, so we were like one coach short to go on the road. It was like young kids. My youngest kid's 19. I'm like, I'll go. Like, this is stupid. So I kind of got a little bit. So it was. I'm like, I'm not gonna make any of these guys that got kids that actually be dressed up and flying around. My kids, they could care less if they see me on Halloween. So we'll go on the road.